That is my assistant, JD Hamby, and JD's made the trip. And right here in the middle is the man, the myth, the legend, Coach Bowen. We are excited. We're going to have a packed show. Coach Bowen will start things off. We're going to follow that up with talking with Coach Todd Williamson and Coach Brett Nelson. And the third segment, we're going to talk offense. We're going to bring up Tyler Duncan and Derek Anderson, wide receiver, quarterback combo. And then we're going to finalize the show talking to middle linebacker Tank Peters, and also safety Riley Tucker. We've got a jam-packed show for you. Thanks for joining us on this Friday. And again, Coach, we are in Sioux City, actually Nebraska. ACU Football has been in at least 3 states today, right on the borderline of 4 different states. So, Coach, thanks for joining us, and welcome to the show.
My pleasure.
JD, welcome.
Yeah, it's good to be back here in my home and native land. I was actually born here in Nebraska, so it's good to be back.
Just on the edge of Nebraska. If you're not familiar with the area, Nebraska and Iowa and South Dakota are right all next to each other, going across the river a few times, and you're in a couple separate different cities. But we're here to be part of the NAIA Football Championship Series. And, Coach, this is your second time in 3 years that you've arrived here. But let's start going backwards. You end up the season 41-14 win over Wayland Baptist, and what that did was it secured a SAC championship for you. Talk us through last Saturday.
Oh, well, it was, it was a win, or you don't get any chance of anything. So we felt like we were the better team going into the game. We traveled to Texas. We did what we needed to do against Wayland Baptist. We played efficient football. I wouldn't say we played our best football of the year, but we played efficient football, and it was an exciting time for our guys to secure the SAC championship. And like you said, second time in the last 3 years. So it was another milestone for our program. So we were excited.
Were there things that stood out to you that said, "Oh, yeah, we're ready for any potential playoffs," which we found out, of course, on Sunday that you got the bid to come here to Sioux City, going to be playing actually in Iowa. But was there anything you saw in that game that you went, "Wow, we're ready for that"?
It wasn't necessarily that game. It was the last 7 weeks when we're sitting at 1-2 and 0-2 in the conference and in last place. There was no room for error the rest of the season. And then we had to have some help along the way. But our guys persevered. They stayed true to the process, and they finished the season well. Every game was a playoff game. We've been in a 7-game playoff. This is our 8th playoff game. So I'm really proud of our guys, the way they stayed in the fight, played consistent football, played some tough football games, and came out on top. And they just have this never quit, never die attitude. So I'm just excited about the process that our guys went through.
Well, Coach, you talked about that we're here to play in the championship series, and we're ready for that. 7-game win streak, by the way, ties the program record, set back in 17 going into 18 season. So just one more win, no big deal, one more win, set the school record.
We'll take it.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Well, you got a former opponent in your way, and that is Morningside coming up tomorrow afternoon, 12 o'clock kickoff local time, Arizona time. We're looking at an 11 o'clock kickoff. Morningside, number 1 team in the country, defending champ. Lots of things you could talk about them. But as you prepare for this game, what are some of the things that you go, all right, this is where we got to make our stand?
We just prepare us, stay true to our process. What our guys do well, what we do well offensively, the things we've done well defensively all year. Morningside is an outstanding program. They've won 3 national championships in 4 years, but they're going to be on the same field we are, and our guys are going to be ready to play and let the chips fall where they may. Why work your tail off to get to this point and then come in with any type of trepidation over who you're going to play? Obviously, they're formidable, but we're a pretty good football team too.
JD?
Coach, we actually got a chance to catch up a little bit earlier in the car. One of the things you had spoken about was that omen of the last time that we had made this playoff series was actually the last time that Morningside had lost. Do you want to speak a little bit more to that and kind of the feelings that you have going into tomorrow?
Well, they haven't lost since the COVID year in the semifinals. So they're riding a long streak. So they probably, I mean, obviously they feel good about life. They feel good about their team, but I can't assume to know what they're doing, how they're preparing, or where their mindset is. I know our football team has a good mindset. Our coaching staff has worked their tail off to prepare our guys, and we had a good week of practice, and our guys are excited to play the game, and so that's just part of the process, and you're going to hear me continuously talk about that process thing. There's also 24 guys on this team that were on that team that for us that played in Florida. See, for me, that's more important than what Morningside's doing. I can't control what they're doing, but those 24 guys that had that experience knows what works well, what didn't work well, and we have a different mindset this time around for the playoffs than we did 2 years ago when we were just excited to make it for the first time.
Absolutely.
Well, the 4 guys coming up on the show are part of those 24 that played a couple seasons ago out in Florida. We come to Iowa, and the temperature dropped just a little bit from where we came from. And I know for me, I had to dig into my archives and go shopping a little bit, find some warmer clothes, because we're from Arizona. We don't need warm jackets and all that stuff. So, Coach, how did you prepare for this trip?
I don't even really I was thinking about the guys a lot and being prepared for what they need to have to perform well, and obviously in Arizona and in the Sooner Conference we're ill-equipped to play in this type of conditions, but we got what the players needed. We had some early morning workouts in shorts and t-shirts to get used to the coolness back in Arizona, where it's, they were working out in high 30s, low 40s. So going out there today and in the mid 20s and stuff like that, I thought our guys they're handling it well. We prepared well at home. We were fine today. And I don't see that being a factor in determining the outcome of this game.
Absolutely. Coach, we've had you on the show many times. Right now we want to take this opportunity to get to know you a little bit better. So we just came off having the team chapel a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. I'm fired up. I'm ready to run through a brick wall. That was a great word. I was wondering if there's any scripture on your heart, anything Lord's put on you, just getting ready for tomorrow, and anything you're kind of experiencing right now.
For me, it's always been my banner scripture, Galatians 6:9, do not grow weary in doing good, for in due season you'll reap if you don't lose heart, and that kind of sums us up. We didn't grow weary in doing good and what we were trying to do, and now we're reaping the benefits of that fight. And our guys stayed in the fight. They got some scars, and anybody that knows anything about scars, when scars heal, it's tougher than the original skin. So our guys are tough. They're resilient, and I'm really proud of where they've come from and where we're at. And so they've kind of lived out my banner scripture, so I'm excited about them.
Absolutely, that's a good word.
Well, Coach, we're going to talk to some of the players about this and get some ideas. Give us break down your favorite trip with a football team. Can't be this one, can't be something you coached at Westview High School, any of them.
My favorite trip with this team?
Doesn't have to be this team.
Well, I'll tell you, it probably was this team when we were playing Texas College, and we won that game, whatever it was, 80 to 19 or something. But when we left, we were in 4th place. And we won that game, and we're sitting on the bus watching a couple other games in the conference, and we're like, my gosh, this has a chance of actually happening. 2 upsets, and we're back in this, and just the excitement between the 3 buses, and everybody's texting and watching the games. I sat in the back with Tank and Tyler and some of the guys, and we're just watching. It's like, holy crud, this actually has a chance of happening. And when it did, we were excited, and we were back in the hunt, So when you go from last place in college football, when you go from last place to first place in the same season, that's rare.
10-game season, you pulled it off, Coach.
And our guys, we celebrate. We did our usual. Let's hit bombs and have some ice cream and celebrate this thing. So that was probably one of my favorite moments with a team, just watching that going from where we were to what we had a chance of doing. We still had to go out and play the next couple of weeks and win football games, but we had that second chance, and so it was pretty cool to share that moment with the guys and then go out and do it, go out and finish it up, and that was special. Yeah.
Just a little fun note for anybody watching right now. I was in the car earlier with Coach Bowen, and he already did point out Dairy Queen, so we are prepared for tomorrow post-game for the activities. But kind of more on that train of just getting to know you a little bit better. Do you have, just off the top of your head, a top 3 football movies that you'd like to watch?
Top 3 football movies. Probably Remember the Titans is up there.
Absolutely.
Friday Night Lights, and then one that the young guns probably don't even know. It's called Something for Joey, and it's the John Cappelletti story, which is pretty inspiring. That's probably my top 3.
Absolutely. Those are some solid picks.
Yep.
Well, Coach, one thing, if I've been around you enough, I know that you get excited about the opportunities that come as you get to the end of the season, and you start counting down the teams that play games that matter. And there's 16 teams left in the NAIA. Any one of them can win a championship. Now, obviously, some people have favorites and some people may not have favorites, but you always say that you get yourself in this position, and as you want to play a countable game on Saturday. Well, these are countable games, and as you mentioned, they basically have been for the last 7 weeks, now pushing 8 weeks, because going from the bottom to the top of the conference in the season is pretty impressive. So, Coach, lots to play for tomorrow. Good luck going into Morningside. Just back into another state and back across the river and down a few miles, and we're going to play some football. Coach, any last thoughts for you?
Yeah, you just hit it on the head. It's exciting. There are favorites, but after Coach Williamson's talk tonight with the team in Chapel, I think we'd rather be favored than be the favorites. And our journey, and and we talk to the guys about it all the time. Does God really care who wins and loses a football game? I can't speak to that. I don't know for sure, but I do know that He cares about the people in the game. He cares about our players, and we may not be the favorites tomorrow, but I know we're favored, and our team, we're children of God, so we're going to go out there and play our tails off and let the chips fall. So we're excited.
Good luck tomorrow, Coach.
Thank you.
We've been speaking with head coach Jeff Bowen on the Storm Report special on location here from actually Sioux City, Nebraska. Coming up next, we're going to talk to some assistant coaches. We're going to bring Coach Todd Williamson and Coach Brett Nelson onto the set. Coach, good luck tomorrow, and we'll take a break. Come right back for Coach Nelson and Coach Williamson. Turn the...
This is weird. This is.
Here, this man, Mr. Williamson, bring it. Like he brought it, and as JD said before, he was ready to run through a wall. So we got assistant coach Todd Williamson, and to his left, we now are joined by Coach Brett Nelson as well. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on the Storm Report special on location.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, gentlemen, let's get right to it. Okay, you win a SAC championship. How'd you guys celebrate? That was last week, 41-14.
Well, personally, I was still thinking about some things that we left on the field, and get my mind ready for the upcoming game, possibly. But I was happy for the men. They went out there and played a great game, and they've been having a great season. So I was just happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, Coach Bowen hit on it earlier. Every game has felt like a playoff game, and so from my first year when we won the conference to this year when we knew we had a shot for playoffs after winning, a lot of our guys just felt like we're not done yet. And so it was, I wouldn't say weird, but it was a very calm celebration. Okay, we won SAC again, great, but we want something more. And so that was a special feeling because you appreciate how much work you've put in on the season. But I just like where our guys' head are at, where it's, we still have work to do. It's not over. Celebration hasn't happened yet.
Right.
What was your prep like for this trip, gentlemen?
Well,
was it normal or different?
I jumped on Amazon immediately and started ordering some stuff. The wife was gracious enough to go out and gather me some stuff as well. So, it was just, I played in the cold. From playing in Maine.
You should know what to do.
Yeah, I knew what to do, and I was happy that I wasn't playing. So, but yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah. No, really, and Coach's Chapel earlier hit on it. It's mostly about, hey, what got us here? Just doing our job, doing what we do. It shouldn't change when you hit playoffs. What you're about. I'm with him on getting a little extra gear, but also just prepping our guys. This is my 6th game I've coached in Iowa in my career. I know how cold it can get, and just prepping them on the fact that you're still going to sweat, so you don't want to bundle up, and it can't be a factor. And our guys have really bought into that. That cold won't be a factor for us.
Yeah, Coach, I saw you at the walkthrough earlier. I noticed it was a little odd. You were only wearing one layer of shirt, and I thought, man, that guy is just tough. But as I started to move around, I started to feel, I could get the blood flowing, get the sweat. Ended up being not so bad. Yeah, no, that's the thing is paying attention to your body and really acclimating to the weather is, I think, the most important thing for our guys, and they've really bought into that this last week, and including today. You could see it out on the field. Most of our guys weren't even in long sleeves.
Well, as coaches, though, you're not running around quite as much as players.
Yeah, no, I'm standing around. You'll see me a little bit more bundled up tomorrow, but
definitely.
I don't expect to see any coaches in short sleeve shirts tomorrow. It may be proving a point today and getting ready for the trip.
Yep.
But let's talk a little more inside with you guys. Obviously, you're assistant defensive coordinator, Coach Williamson, and you work with the outside linebackers. Coach Nelson, you work with the offensive line. When I looked at the projected starting lineups, there's not much different, actually, in the offensive lines. I know that's kind of Coach Nelson's area, but you working with outside linebackers and the V-line, of course, get into that mix as well. When you're talking that it looks like they're about 6'3", 255, 260, and we're right about that, 6'4", 260, 265. So from that standpoint, there doesn't look like there's much of a big change in, like, our guys, what they're facing in practice, both sides of the ball. So, Coach, Williamson, can you address that, the line, and what you plan to do with that?
Well, like you said, size-wise, we match up well. I think for us, it's definitely something that kind of works to our favor because we're used to playing bigger old linemen that kind of lay on our guys and kind of do a lot of holding. But these guys kind of move a lot better. So our guys, it'll be a nice matchup for them, a little something different. They got 2 big tight ends that we prepared for to get ready for that do a good job blocking and stuff like that. They got some, running back runs hard. He's a sophomore, but he gets after it. So as long as we hold the front and our linebackers come downhill and make some plays, we'll be in the game.
And then Coach Nelson on the other side of the ball, just a quick look at the stats here. That Morningside defensive line, on the year, they have 22 sacks for a total loss of 126 yards. Are you doing anything to kind of change up the schemes, or are you just kind of keeping that same game plan that's got us here? It's won us the last 8 games.
Yeah, they're obviously a very good defensive line. Everyone I've talked with who's played against them, they talk about the front 7 for Morningside, and that's really the heart of their defense. Thankfully, we have a very strong offensive line this year. My left side hasn't given up a sack all year. And so I think, for me, I'm excited to see that kind of competition where it's 2 really solid positions going against each other. They're not much different than what we've seen. The Sooner, I would say, up front is usually the strong point for most of the teams in the Sooner. A lot of speed in the Sooner Athletic Conference when it comes to defensive end. So it's something we haven't seen before. And like I said, you can't be changing everything, because what got you here is what you do well. And so that's really our focus as an offensive line, is we know up front, we have to be able to establish the line of scrimmage, because that's what wins football games.
Absolutely.
So, Coach, your top key for tomorrow?
We got to stop the run, and do our job.
Amen.
Everybody's got.
I heard somebody say that tonight.
Honestly, if everybody does their job, and like Coach just said, the most important thing is just remember what got you there, right? Like you can't start developing new schemes and things like that. You have to go out and do what got you there. Because obviously what got you there was good enough to get you there. So you just got to continue doing that. So we'll get out there. We'll kind of eye up those tight ends I was talking about, and run a few things to check on them, and and get the ball back to the offense.
Yeah.
Coach Nelson, what do you got? Key for you? I think you kind of already mentioned it, but go ahead and hit me with it.
Yeah, ours is going to be establishing the line of scrimmage. We think we can do a lot of things versus them in this defense. It's a defense we've seen multiple times this year, maybe a little tweaks here and there. But for us, we know this kind of defense. If you can set the line of scrimmage, we can play to our strengths, and that's really what we want to do, because, again, like Coach said, that's what got us here, and we feel very confident in that. In these kind of games and playoffs, it's not really about the opponent; it's about how well you play. And I appreciate Morningside for this. Their defense, they're not going to make mistakes; they're going to capitalize on yours. That's the kind of team they are. And those are good football teams. And so really it's going to come out to who plays mistake-free football tomorrow. And that's what you like to see in playoffs. Mm-hmm. I've been in playoff games where you show up and you win, right? That's what I love about the NAIA, is the NAIA is not like that. You have to show out every single week.
Right. Playing on the big stage tomorrow, just going back to it, I know you guys used to play. Do you have any of those pregame rituals that you like to go back to? Any kind of superstitions you wear in the same pair of socks every day before a game, anything like that?
If you are, some of your socks are getting a little right by now.
Yeah, no. I was telling our guys earlier, I'm normally pretty clean-shaven. But when we start winning, I grow a beard, and it's funny because my wife, when we started dating 10 years ago, was like, I do not like beards. And ever since I've been coaching and I've been winning, I've been growing a beard every season. And I always say, she's like, you're not superstitious. I'm like, I don't grow my beard for us to win. Because we win, I grow my beard. And she's not a fan of it, but I don't mind having it for 4 more weeks, that's for sure.
Yeah, 2 months of growing that beard. It's looking very nice.
Yeah.
Coach, how about you? You got your lucky pair of socks on?
Nah, I don't have my lucky pair of socks on. No, for myself, I think it's my pregame. Like, I think it's definitely going to test my wits tomorrow, because I'm always out with Coach Cooper prior to we get our workout in, throw the ball around. So tomorrow's going to test it a little bit, but I'm ready. I'll be out there. I practiced today, so I'll be ready to go.
Well, both of you played college football, have the experience to travel with some teams throughout. Sometimes it's on a flight, sometimes it's on a bus. Share your favorite memory of your football. It can be as a player, it can be as a coach. Just your favorite memory on a team.
I heard Coach talking in the last segment, and honestly, I got to say, I got to copy him. Because, first of all, with the technology and stuff now, you're able to watch a game that I don't even think was even televised. I don't even know where it was being televised.
Right.
We're watching it on the bus. But when Ottawa loses, the bus erupts, and usually the kids aren't paying attention to anything. You know what I'm saying? But everybody's erupting and clapping and cheering, and I mean, it was like one of the greatest moments. Like I actually kind of got a little chill from it. But yeah, I mean, so that would be my most memorable time.
Coach Nelson?
Yeah, I mean, that definitely stacks up with it as a coach. I've had the experience of playing here, playing and coaching here 6 different times, and, all of them have come down to the wire in my memorable games. When I played, we came out here, cold weather, night game, won on a last-second field goal. When I was at Illinois, we came out to Iowa, cold again, last-second field goal. So, come out on top quite a bit. And so, hoping for that tomorrow as well to get that feeling again. So those are some just memorable, it's cold, but it's fun. Those are the games that I remember because you're like, wow, how did we do that in that kind of weather? But that's football.
Absolutely. We asked Coach Bowen earlier, and we'll ask these guys up next. But just really quick, just a top 3 football movies for you guys.
Top 3, huh? Well, I'm going to have to go not in any particular order, but for myself, it had to be Remember the Titans, actually the Kurt Warner story, and actually Facing the Giants.
I was going to go with the Little Giants, but yeah, I'm with you
Giants.
on that. Little
Also,
Giants.
the Little Giants?
Well, no,
Facing
Facing the Giants is
Giants,
Facing the
right?
Giants
Yeah,
is one,
two
but the
different
Little
movies.
Giants, different movie.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what the little.
Well, the Little Guys is the Little Giants.
Little
where
Giants.
They're facing the
Exactly.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
Facing the Giants is.
Yeah, I know
is the other
exactly
one.
what my movie is.
Okay. I'm just making sure. Statue of Puerto Rico coming out tomorrow.
All right.
Nelson? Your 3 movies.
Oh, yeah. Replacements, I would say.
So good.
Yeah, right.
Replacements.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a deep,
know.
that's a deep
I
cut
know.
reference.
Yeah. The other one, I would say Facing the Giants and then the Little Giants. Honestly. Like, I love Little Giants, man.
Those are
It's
3
great.
stellar movies.
My
absolutely.
brother was a huge Cowboys fan, so, like, anything that demonizes the Cowboys, I'm all for it.
Nice. I guess that's me and the Yankees then, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Anytime the Yankees lose, it is a good
Yeah.
day in my book.
Love my brother, but, man, not a Cowboys fan, even close.
Favorite team, Coach? In the pros.
And you know what? I honestly don't have one.
Yeah.
I'm a LSU Tigers fan
Okay.
for football.
I mean,
I know who you're going to root for, but
go Cards.
Yeah.
Right?
a little Louisville for you.
Can't not root for Louisville.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for taking the time to be part of us. I know it's interesting. It's a different environment. Normally we're doing this inside the Tower Grill on campus, but here
Much
we
rather
are
be here.
in South Sioux City in Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Getting our enjoyment on. Guys, any last thoughts from you before you go?
Do your job.
There it is.
Amen. Coach, thank you so much for your word earlier. I can't thank you enough, man. That was awesome.
Yes, sir.
We were ready to pass the offering plate. It was fantastic.
Yeah. He said, "Do your job." I was ready to drop the mic and just go.
All right, we've been talking with assistant coaches Brett Nelson and Todd Williamson, and coming up next, we're going to reach into the archives of the players, and we're going to bring up 2 offensive players that will be Tyler Duncan and Derek Anderson. Coming up next.
Good luck tomorrow, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Welcome back to the special edition of the Storm Report, coming live from South Sioux City, Nebraska. Tim Gostin, your host for this evening, and on the far side, J.D. Hamby, my assistant. And now we're joined by a couple of players. We're going to talk offense with these guys. To my immediate left, Derek Anderson, wide receiver for the Storm, and to his left, Tyler Duncan, quarterback extraordinaire for the Firestorm. Gentlemen, welcome to Sioux City, Nebraska.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us. We appreciate it.
It's been quite a day. We've been in at least 3 states that we know of, maybe even the borderline 4th, depending upon where South Dakota actually starts. But we've had a good time with that. So when you woke up this morning, you knew you were getting on a plane. When you got to the airport and you've gotten to the hotel, kind of walk us through the day, your emotions, and how you're feeling.
You go first.
It's pretty. I try to stay level-headed and try not to get too big in the moment. So I just take it, one day at a time. One thing at a time. Get on the plane. Just put my music in, relax. When we got off the plane, it was cold. Being from California, you don't really feel 20 degrees anytime. So yeah, that was definitely new, fun, and exciting to play in that environment like that. But yeah, very just simple. Sat next to him on the bus ride the whole time. We crack jokes and have fun. So it's nice, having one of your closest friends on the bus and stuff like that.
Tyler Duncan, you're up.
Yeah, so it started during the week. It was just like a process, getting ready for it, just looking at the weather every day, seeing what get used to and changes we have to make. In practice with they did different thing with the footballs and stuff like that. So when we got this morning, I didn't really sleep that much. I probably got 4 or 5 hours of sleep. I was just tossing and turning, just excited and ready for this moment, and something that we've been waiting for since that Florida game. He was able to play in it, I wasn't. I broke my collarbone, so I've just been itching to get back and get to this game and see what we can do.
Yeah, I was actually able to catch up with some of the guys earlier on the field, and some of the things that they were doing to prepare is actually freezing the footballs. They were putting them in freezers just to prepare for this weekend. So seeing that kind of commitment and level go into this game it's been astounding. Well,
so far the theme of this has been the footballs, and we'd be mistaken without talking about the footballs that didn't make the bus today.
The football fiasco of Friday night.
Oh, man.
So what happened with the footballs, and where did we find them?
So I had Corbin, another quarterback, take care of the balls, and he was supposed to put it in our thing. He gave it to one of the op guys who said he put it in our bus. He put it in the other bus. So when Coach Harris asked what bus it was on, I said it was on our bus because that's what I thought it was. And then they said the refs needed the ball, so we go down and look under the bus, and there's no ball bag to be found. So we go through the bottom of the bus, couldn't find anything. So he's over there screaming outside, yelling, throwing a fit, yelling at us. I'm like, I had no control over the balls. And he's like, well, that's your job, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right. So we had to wait outside. That bus left. The second bus came back, and I just hung out with them outside and with Bowen and just talked. And then the other bus came back, got it, gave the ball back to the refs, and got going from there.
Now we're prepared.
Yeah, Coach Bowen and myself were actually sitting in that meeting with all the NAIA officials and the referees for tomorrow's game, and we're going down the checklist, and they go, "All right, Jeff, let's check your game balls," and he goes, "Oh, you know what? They're on the bus. They're coming right now." And then 10 minutes go by, and he goes, "Oh, they picked the wrong bus." So it's just a consistent delay in getting those there. It was very funny.
All right. Well, as things happen, it wouldn't be a fun road trip if there wasn't something. We've had experiences of being broke down on the side of the bus many times. We've had experience of the plane, train, automobiles type experience getting back from Lyon in your guys' career. So when you think about your favorite memory, we're going to talk more a little bit about some other things, but your favorite memory can be with the ACU Firestorm. It can be with you were traveling with some of their team. Your favorite memory of traveling with the football team?
I feel like there's a new memory, and that comes out of each trip. There's something that we always take away from each trip, like that Lion trip where the plane guy came.
Plane, trains, and automobiles.
Like that. Yeah. So we were on our way back actually, and as soon as we pulled out of the hotel, the bus got in a car crash right after. So it was just
immediately
another thing. And like Bowen was saying, after the Texas College game, when we were just sitting in the bus, we look at our phones, and Texas West was losing, so we were like, oh, wow. And then we looked at the Ottawa game, and they were up 21-0, and we're like, oh, well, this isn't going to happen. So we turned that off, and about 5 minutes later, it was 21-7, and then a couple minutes later, 21-14, and it just kept going, and that's when Bowen came to the back with us, and we realized, hey, we have a shot. They dropped a wide open pass in the end zone, Langston did, and we were like, oh, here we go. Like, things aren't going to go our way. And different things happened, and it was all just a blessing to see things unfold and go our way. And we got the job done. We took care of our business, and now we're here. So, yeah, every trip there's been something to come out of it, and every trip's just been a blessing in its own.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off that as well. I wasn't on the same bus, but I was on the bus with Coach Coop, and me and Coach Coop and a couple of other guys were watching it. Obviously, seeing Langston come back and then seeing Tex West lose, definitely it was nice to see in our favor, because when the year started, you start 1-2, you really don't have much hope. Obviously we play for pride and we play for the school, but as the year went on, we kept rattling off wins and kept doing our job and doing what we needed to do. It was nice to see those teams, falter a little bit towards the end of the season while we got stronger. So being on that bus was definitely fun, especially when Ottawa fumbled the ball, they picked it up and scored. Whole bus went nuts. So it was definitely a cool experience. Also to piggyback off the Lion trip as well, that was probably one of my favorite trips of the year, just because of how everything changed in a heartbeat. We were in the hotel. There was a tornado warning when we got to Dallas. The bus gets into a car accident as soon as we turn out. So, just the what's the word I'm looking for? When everything just happens randomly and stuff like that, it always just seems to be the most fun when you don't know what's going on. So it was just nice to be with all the boys for a long period of time, even though it was very, very long of a trip.
It turned out to be about a 3-day getting back, all of everybody back. That was, 2 seasons ago, I think? Last year. Last year. A trip that we hope not to repeat anytime soon. But when you're thinking about, you've been here for 4 years, Tyler, and Derek, you've been here for 3. Technically, you played at another school, but both of you have that concept of a COVID year, and I'm not going to ask you on air what your decision would be, but I just know that there will be some people that might be interested in whether you are interested in pursuing a 5th year of college football, or if you're just like, I'm getting a degree and I'm done. But for you, Tyler, you're knocking on the door of 9,000 total yards in your passing and rushing career. You have 88 touchdowns, so you're knocking on the door of 90. Kind of sum up your career. You've done a lot. You talked about the broken collarbone that kind of you lost half of a season in that. But you've had a record-setting career here at ACU. You're going to own every record book in passing. You're second in rushing. You've just been getting it done. Tell us about that.
It's been a blessing to come here and be able to do the things that I've done. It's all been like the people around me and the receivers, the running backs, the coaches. Without them, I wouldn't be where I am. So I've worked hard. I've gotten to the position where I am, but without them putting me in those places, I wouldn't be where I am. So, I do have another year. We'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. But I'm excited.
Well, Derek, for you, you've had some numbers to talk about. You got 4 touchdowns this season. I think all of them have come from this guy. Yeah. Maybe one came from Quinn.
I had one from Quinn.
Quinn, yeah, okay. So 3 came from Tyler and 1 came from Quinn. So you got some numbers to talk about. But what I'd like to talk to you about, you're one of 4 or one of a handful of Firestorm on campus that can talk about 4 conference championships. And if you know anything about Derek Anderson, he's also a member of the track team for the Firestorm, and back-to-back conference champs in the GSAC for track, and then 2 of the last 3 years in football. So talk about that experience where you've had 4 championships to work with. Not many people can talk about that running around ACU.
Yeah, no, definitely blessed. And, obviously ACU's athletic programs are, just beyond, obviously coming from a JUCO and then coming to here now, man, ACU is just great. It's been a great experience. But football and track, two different beasts. For the football aspect, it's a lot more of a grind, a lot more, a punishment on the body. But the football rings almost do seem a little bit sweeter, just because it does take, a full team of guys from the heat of summer to, all the way to the end of the year. But track as well, it takes everybody a little bit less on the body. But yeah, man, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. Love it. Love every second of it as well. I actually just started running track. This was my first time actually ever running track, was here at school. So just to get on the team and be able to help them, go back to back, was pretty cool. Also got into the hurdles this year as well. So that was fun for me to learn a new sport, learn a new event. But it's just great, man. I love ACU. I love being here. I love being a Firestorm.
Well, four championships to brag about. That's something that, again, most people at ACU cannot talk about. We've had a couple of championships, in football and basketball, but not too many people with 4. Now, there may be some other football guys that I'm trying to think of if they were there for the first football championship and have been part of the track team. So there might be 1 or 2 guys that you're on both, but nobody else comes to mind. It just popped in my head. Oh, Derek. And I think we probably showed a picture of you getting honored, the track team getting honored in between football game or at halftime of a couple of football games. So it's kind of like homecoming that weekend for you, where you're there in the pads and everybody else is in their track suits or their track shirts, and you're like, all right, here, I'm in my football gear. I don't need to worry about the halftime speech. I'm good. I'll get that later. So when you think about your careers, and we hope that there's at least 4 more games in your careers here at ACU. Whether you come back for a 5th year, who knows? We'll see. But what do you take away from your careers?
You got it, Derek.
I love the brothers that I played with. That's probably my favorite thing. Coaches and all as well. I just built so many great relationships here. Tank, Riley, TD. Everybody's had my back through the ups, the downs, the good and the bad. Through the drop balls, the touchdowns, everything. My probably biggest takeaway is the guys. Just being able to make that, that friendship, that bond. A lot of these people probably will be in my wedding later in my life, hopefully.
Is that an announcement?
No, it's not an announcement. But
does she know?
Not yet. Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway is just the relationships that I've built while I've been here and being able to, hopefully positively affect the young classmen and the people that look up to me.
Okay, Tyler.
Yeah, I went through the toughest time of my life here with everything going on in my family life. So honestly, without the people surrounding me, without the teammates, without the coaches, I don't know where I'd be. I definitely don't think I'd be in a good place. So they've kind of drugged me out of a darker time and helped me with a lot of different things. So yeah, the relationships, friendships, the brotherhood, and just everyone having my back and me being there for them and them being here for me, it's just meant the world to me. And especially getting to play football and just getting to play the game we love on top of everything, it's just been a blessing in itself. And we're glad to keep going and keep this run alive.
It's actually a great segue, because that was the next question I had for you, TD, is I've gotten to know you for quite a bit of time now. We had a couple years of overlap as students together, and just seeing you grow into the man that we have right here now it's been remarkable. I was wondering if there's anybody in particular you think that's had a great impact on you, or maybe an influence on kind of helping develop you into the man that you are now.
I'd say probably Coach Bowen.
Yeah.
Coach Bowen would be number 1. Just everything that happened with my dad, he was the first person I would tell, and he would contact me, and just every day he would just, are you okay? Is everything okay? Come in my office, meet with me. And even in days when I was off, he would know. He'd be able to tell. He'd call me in his office, hey, let's talk. I want to be here for you. Same with Coach Chambers. They both can tell when I'm off and if I'm not doing okay. I wouldn't even have to say anything to anybody. If I'm just not as happy, not laughing as much, he'd be like, hey, everything okay? And if I'm yeah, he'd be like, no, you need to tell me, pull me aside. So, yeah, definitely him. And then obviously my family, they're there for me every step of the way and have always been. So, yeah, just them being there for me and all my teammates, Riley, Tank, and Derek, and everyone like that, they, when all that happened as well, they were always calling me, texting me, making sure I'm okay, hanging in there. And when I went to practice and everything, they'd be the first one to come up to me, give me a hug, and just check up on me no matter what. So having those type of people around me has definitely changed my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe just kind of switch up the pace a little bit. I mean, we've asked it in the last 2 segments, but I guess it's your guys' turn now. Do you have a top 3 favorite football movies?
Yeah, I guess I'll start this off. Probably just because I'm a little bit younger than all the coaches. I'm going to go Longest Yard. And then
fantastic.
Great movie. And then one of the first football movies that I can remember watching with my father was Rudy, and then Gridiron Gang.
Gridiron Gang.
Have we not had Rudy yet talked about? You know what I mean? That's a great one.
We got all these old coaches on the show, and none of them mentioned Rudy.
I was waiting for that one to come up.
Yeah, that's their era. Right.
I don't really have a top 3. I kind of only have a top 1. Game plan with The Rock. I feel like that's number 1. I don't really think there's a 2 or 3. So That's usually my pregame movie. I'm going to watch it in the hotel with Riley when we get done with this. So
Nice.
we'll get ready for the game tomorrow by watching that.
All right. Well, make sure you're at least making curfew. You may not get to see the whole movie.
No promises.
All right. Well, I just got to wrap this up with you growing the facial hair too. I don't think Derek yours doesn't look like it's a 7-game win streak now, but I don't know. What about yours, Tyler?
I'm superstitious, like Coach Nelson said. Like, I don't cut my hair and I don't shave my beard. It may not look the best, but like Riley's, but I'm not going to shave it until something happens. So.
Well, we'll be sure to talk about Riley's beard when he gets on the show. Hey, we've been talking with Derek Anderson and quarterback Tyler Duncan here on the Storm Report. Thanks for tuning in, and gentlemen, thanks for being on the show. We wish you success tomorrow against Morningside as we travel back into another state and get off and all bundle up a little bit more than we ever have in our lives. So it should be fun.
Get some sleep tonight, boys. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you guys for having us.
That's Tyler. That's Mr. Anderson and JD, and Tim will be back for segment number 4 of the Storm Report live from South Sioux City, Nebraska. Welcome back to segment 4 of the Storm Report. I'm Tim Gosen, and on the far side, JD Hamby. Now we have in between us, to my immediate left, Mr. Riley Tucker. One step further, Mr. Stephaun Peters, also known as Tank. How are you, gentlemen? Good to see you.
I'm doing good.
You guys awake? I mean, like you look like you just fell asleep.
Just had a big meal, starting to snooze off a little bit. They're looking forward to tomorrow, maybe getting some rest. But what do you think, guys?
It's definitely time. Friday nights are a little bit weird for me. I start getting locked in. I start getting a little bit antisocial, as weird as that sounds, because I'm a pretty social person. But just starting to focus on tomorrow.
Okay, Tank.
Right. Just going off Riley said, it's more antisocial. I'll even tell my family, I'll talk to y'all after the game. I gotta get locked in, watch my film. They just know my routine and know how I am. So just being locked in on the game, know the stakes of the game and what we got to do to prepare our team.
I got to ask, guys, what is the pregame ritual? You wake up, what are you doing throughout the day to prepare for kickoff?
I'd say watching this countless film until the game, just knowing the right spots I'm in, talking to my teammates, letting them know that I'm there for them and that I got their back no matter what. So
mine's a little bit different. Mine's Red Bull and Skittles. Wildberry Skittles too.
It's tough to beat.
Red Bull and Skittles.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you don't have enough energy already.
It's been like that for 6th grade, 7th grade. So, even times before that, my parents joke around with me that I convinced my great-grandfather that Monster was a sports drink. So, when I was a kid playing baseball. So, it's probably been around for a long time.
So most of us went to Amazon to get warmer clothes and to get bundled up to come here. You went to Amazon to get a 24-pack of Wildberry Skittles. Nice.
Mama Tuck gets me a pound bag of Wildberry Skittles and Red Bull before every game. So shout out to her for that.
Nice. All right, get the family in on the pregame ritual. I like it. Well, tomorrow we're here to play a little football. Part of the NAIA Football Championship Series, second time in 3 years. Firestorm have been here. You both had the privilege of playing in Florida, so you got that experience. Compare the mindset of this team, today's team, going to play tomorrow versus the team last year or 2 years ago when you were going to Florida and to Kaiser.
Like Coach Nelson hit on it, it's just completely different. It's a weird feeling this time. Kaiser, we made the team. I talk to Tank every day about this, and we talk about football every day. But when we were at Kaiser, we were kind of just oh my gosh, like the playoffs, blah, 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 like the playoffs. And now we're like, we got work to do. And just like they were talking about being on the bus, I wasn't on the bus when everything like fell through with the games and stuff, but I was on FaceTime with Tyler. And Coach Bowen grabbed the phone from Tyler and said, Riley, we got work to do. And it hasn't changed since then. We got work to do.
7 games, and Coach Bowen hit on the head. You guys have been in a 7-game playoff stretch already. You're just now looking for 8, 9, 10, and 11.
Absolutely.
All right, so you go into tomorrow, and you have your Skittles and your Red Bull, and you kind of watch some plays, and we hit the field. What are you thinking? Where are you going with?
I think Coach will, like you said, like hit it on the head earlier. Do your job. Be there for the person next to you at all times. There's going to be so many like ups and downs throughout the whole game. We're playing like the number 1 team in the university. They got home field advantage. Like so much things that you think can go wrong. But just playing like our best ball, being ourselves. Don't let Morningside, don't let them like get us out of our game. Play our sound football. Create turnovers on defense. Be the top 5 scoring offense in the nation. Like, just be us. Be Arizona Christian football, and we'll be fine.
Riley, how about you?
Absolutely. Building off of what Tank said, I tell Coach Harris and the D-line they're the best in the nation week in and week out. So biggest thing for us, I tell Coach Will, Coach Art, win first and second down, stop the run, make them get third down, bring in our nickel package, let the D-line do what they do, and that's when turnovers are forced.
Well, you guys have done a pretty good job with turnovers, I might add. You got 19 to your career interceptions, so I'd love to have at least 20 tomorrow, maybe 21. And Tank, I know you're always looking to be stripping balls out as people are trying to run your way. If you could describe the perfect game for you, how you're going to pull off, if you're able to pull off the win tomorrow, what would that look like for you guys? Like, what would you say? Oh, we have to have two turnovers, or we have to have, our offense has to stay on the field longer, or what would that look like?
I don't think that there's a magic number as far as turnovers. I think that we we forced 5 last week, and I think that 5 is a good number, honestly. I say there's not a magic number, then I give you a number, but I think 5 is a good number, and as far as offense on the field, we're a fast-paced offense. So we know going into the game that we're going to be spending a lot of time on the field, and I love it. I know Tank loves it. I know Jake on the D-line loves it. We love it. That's just more opportunities for us to make plays, and everybody loves making plays. So,
like you said, I think creating turnovers is a big thing for us every time we're in a big game, having turnovers, stopping the run, and then our offense just like controlling the clock, them not having turnovers, winning on special teams, just winning all 3 phases of the game, and the rest will shake out itself.
Got it.
Speaking to turnovers, Riley, we mentioned it earlier, your 19 interceptions. And looking at Morningside, their quarterback, Luke Johansson, since he's taken the reins in the last 3 games, he's thrown 5 interceptions. So we got to talk about it, Riley. Are you just licking your chops going in tomorrow, or are you just hopeful, or what? What's the mentality there?
Not really. I was talking to a former coach of mine that coaches in Northern Iowa that's out here, and when I focus on turnovers, they don't come. So I just got to focus on doing my job like Coach Will says, and you do your job. You just happen to be in the right play at the right time. We have 4-5 great DBs that we play with in the backside. Jordan Francis got 6 picks for a reason, and I'll tell you right now, if it's me and him, I'm picking him over me every time. So let Jordan Francis throw it his way. Let him get some picks.
Always a dangerous combination when you have you guys roaming the back and creating havoc. So. For you, Riley, you've had a career where you've been an All-American, you've been the Defensive Player of the Year in the SAC, you were the Freshman Player of the Year. Obviously, you are setting records with your interceptions and what you've done. But that's not all you do, man. Like, you pick a ball off and you're out on defense. But, by the way, you're also the holder for PATs and field goals. Just for fun, you're also the up back in the punt formation. And you guys had a little fun last game with that little formation.
We've been dreaming about it for years.
little old safety to linebacker. Everybody calls up that play for when you're going for a trick play, the safety to linebacker for the touchdown. And the nice moves, by the way, once you caught the ball, you made a guy miss, and then off to the races. Tank was, about a 40-yard something touchdown, 44 yards if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, Riley, you're on the field all the time, and we'll get back to that. I'll ask you about that play in a second, but I wanted to finish this point. You're on the field a lot, and one of the things that Coach Bowen talks about, not only are you dialed in defensively as a DB, you're dialed in as a holder. You're not just the guy that's just there, oh, yeah, Coach, call me over. Yeah, okay, I'm going to do that. I know that Coach goes to you or you go to Coach, like you've done the warm-ups with Nestor Higuera, and you said, Coach, I think he's good from 35. Coach, I think he's good from 40. Coach, I think he's good for whatever. So you're dialed in that aspect of the game as well. Obviously, you're dialed in on the punt team as well, but your pregame, as you go through that, you've just got so many things that you're thinking about. Walk us through that mental process of, okay, I'm the holder on this 15 minutes, and now I'm the, DB on this 15 minutes.
Yeah, so honestly, I don't really think about it. Like, the way you made it seem makes this, like, it's so complicated, but really it's just in the moment, especially being my senior year. I only got X amount left. So, I'm blessed to have another one. We're trying to make another one after that. So just locking in and just having fun in the moment. Me and Manny have grown close over the past 4 years of holding for him. And Coach Bowen trusts me a lot. Obviously, if Manny's having a bad day in warm-ups, I go to him. I say, hey, Manny's a little off today. I'm thinking 40s, 45s. And it's crazy to say that an off day is a 40, 45, but the past couple of weeks I've came to him, I said, 55. He hit that 52, and I'm in Bowen's ear like, we got it. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. So just having the trust there is huge. And then the fake punts, Coach Corcoran is absolutely great. Bowen's probably gets a little upset with me on some fake punts because, I get told if I have the look, run it. But obviously there's downs and distances and situations where you shouldn't run it. But, if it's there and we could capitalize, we need to capitalize on it. And I think that it's been a big success. Tank and I, like I said earlier, we've been dreaming about this for 2 years, and that's a call that comes from Bowen. And, we had a halftime. I came up to Bowen. I said, it's there. Like, our call is there. It's there if we need it. We get down, I think it was around like the 40-yard line. And I came up to Bowen. I said, we could run it. And he says, all right, if it's there, run it. But if it's not, punt the ball. So, I line up. They were spying me by their backer, which had one off, which is kind of a scary just because of where Tank's releasing up the field. So I took a step inside. The linebacker took a step inside with me. I said, uh-oh. And then, I threw Tank the ball. And Tank won't tell you this, but I will. He's a great athlete. He played receiver. He played receiver in JUCO, and I don't think I could tackle him in open space, so I knew that a punt returner couldn't.
Well, it looked like a couple linebackers. Tank, walk us through that play. You get a ball coming from Mr. Tucker, and there's a couple guys in your face. Make a couple moves, dude. It looks like a little Derrick Henry stiff arm going on there, and you were off to the races. Tell us about it.
First off, none of that play would be possible without Coach Corcoran dialing it up, and without Riley getting it to me. Like you said, we've been thinking about that play for a while now. So when it came to the game, more people like Key Riley because he's had more of our fakes during the season. So when the linebacker bumped over and the play was ran, after that, the rest was history. That was nothing. I used to do that all the time in high school. So
run by people?
Right. Took me back to high school days.
Never heard Tank in the sentence of a wide receiver that you just said. I've never heard that.
If you want to look it up on film and watch it, I promise you it's something that's special.
All right. Well, Coach, hey, maybe we got a receiver coming back. I know Tank, you're maxed out your 5 years, so whenever ACU is done, then your career wraps up. But Riley, there's possibility of you, and I've talked to you enough. I don't think it's even going to happen. But the time will tell if suddenly you feel like you got to go get a graduate degree, or you got to go get something and continue your career. But as you guys prepare. There's been championships won by both of you. You guys have been part of the two of the three two in the last 3 years that we've won. But Tank, you also had one at your JUCO, correct?
Right.
Didn't you? So you've won 3 in now 5 years. How do you express give me your top 3 of those? Oh my goodness, this one was crazy. Which one is your best run?
I would say even though the Kaiser one in a first round exit, it was a 2 separate seasons, and I'm a person that loves football and gets a natural competitor. So being around those guys 10 months, that was the best time of my life. When we go to spring ball and stuff and can't play, it's it's just not the same as playing against other people. So being in that long season and going through hard times with each other and the stuff over and over, that was probably my favorite season. And this one, we got more work to do. We're definitely not done yet, so this will probably be my favorite season coming up. But
Amen.
I would say the Kaiser one was my favorite season.
All right.
JD?
Well, boys, you've been sitting over there working on it for about half an hour, so I guess it's your turn to answer. What are some favorite football movies?
I feel like they've all been said.
Right.
The only one I would add is The Water Boy. I like The Water Boy.
You can do it.
Yeah, and
Probably my top three.
The Blind Side.
That's good too.
I always watch. I mean, I watch The Blind. I'd probably put Blind Side at number 1 for me.
Really? All right.
Unless I'm watching the game plan with Tyler. Then
Stop.
Number one.
I'm gonna critique.
Nice. All right, Tank, your turn. 3 movies.
Longest Yards for sure. Gridiron Gang, and Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. JD, we got to answer this question. Number 1 for you.
Oh, it's got to be Friday Night Lights. It's got to boil down. That's got to be the best halftime speech in any football movie ever.
I got to go Remember the Titans. Although, close second, maybe Waterboy, who knows, but Remember the Titans. Hey, it's been a great show, and we've had a great time getting to know our coaches even on more than the normal, like, hey, let's talk about XYZ game plan, and you guys have your hands full tomorrow. I don't have to tell you about what Morningside brings offensively, and you guys on the defensive side have a lot of work to do tomorrow, but hey, we wish you the best of luck as you prepare for that game, and we get on the bus tomorrow, and we make our way back into the state of Iowa, and we go play at Morningside. It should be a fun atmosphere. I'm sure they'll have several thousand people there or so, and but what it does also in the future, preparing us for moving to the Frontier Conference, because that's the type of crowd you're going to play in front of after this season, as Firestorm football, of course, moves to the Frontier Conference. So, gentlemen, best of luck to you tomorrow, and it's been a privilege to cover you the last 4 years of your careers. I have the opportunity to write your names a lot of times when I write stories, so I just have to say thanks for all of you that you've done for ACU football through the years, and we appreciate your willingness to talk to us tonight. Step a little later. I know it's getting close to 9:30 local time here, or a little bit after, and you guys have curfew coming up soon, so you got to get in with Tyler and watch a little game plan. But best of luck to all of the Firestorm tomorrow as we head to Morningside for the opening round of the NAIA Football Championship Series. For everybody that's been part of this remote on location from Sioux City, Nebraska, Coach Bowen, Coach Williamson, Coach Nelson, Tyler Duncan, Derek Anderson, Tank Peters, and right here to my left, Riley Tucker.
Shout out to our boy Devin Williams working the computer tonight.
Devin Williams, it's fun when your intern's on the football team, because when you travel with the football team, he's part of the action as well. For my man JD Hamby, I'm Tim Gosen. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody, and the Storm Report probably back on air on a Monday. We even though we're squeezing in a Friday, we'll probably be back on the air on Monday. Enjoy, again, the rest of your Friday evening, everybody. Good night.